With melton, we need to find the bias. Line up the line that extends from the brake line to the bias of the melton, or alternatively, the center back of the collar. Trace around it and cut it out. Copy the brake line onto both pieces of the melton. Should you wish, mark on the end of the fall, 4 cm above the brake line, to backtack there when machining. Literally no use though, I think, since it gets padded. Machine the two pieces together with a 1 cm seam allowance, backtacking on both ends. Backtack the fall as well if you wanted. Fold it open and press the seam open. Lay the melton seam side down on the bias of the collar canvas and make sure that it is laying flat against it. Baste it in place to keep it flat for machining. Cut away the excess collar canvas if still applicable, such as if you have a small bias cut piece rather than a meter like me. Stitch along the brake line without backtacking. Really, you could iron and shape the collar and use it for a fitting without padding at this point, and I suggest taking out the basting at this point regardless. Before padding the lapel, chalk on the inlays, because it's simply unnecessary to pad the inlay given it's likely just going to be chopped off. And then also don't pad an additional 1 cm from the inlay along the top, as we're going to fold the top collar behind it. That said, I'm pretty sure the Germans pad the whole thing, which I kind of like the way it looks, to be honest, but this is way simpler and faster. Start padding on the brake line with the collar mostly flat. We are catching as little melton as possible in a similar sense to padding the lapel. It's going to be folded away, but it is still going to be exposed in a similar way as the lapel. In the same vein, you want to use a thread the same color as the melton. After the first flat line, fold the lapel and pad stitch the stand or the fall, having finished which, pad either the fall or the stand. There'll be an unlisted uncut version linked in the description again. The stitches can be relatively spaced out and long. You might only make 3 rows on the stand. Again, don't pad further than 3 cm from the brake line on the fall so that we can get the top collar between the two more easily. Upon completion of each side, they are very exaggerated in how they hold their shape, how it's curved, which is an excellent representation of what padding does. You can see that you can barely see the pad stitches on the melton side of the cloth. I find it really annoying when the stitches are much more than a prick. To iron, fold and press it along the break line. Because it's folded along the bias, we can and will easily steam and stretch the undercollar. We have to stretch it a bit less for our single-breasted jacket, but we need to stretch it a bit more for a double-breasted jacket, since the lapels cross over more. But I guess I'll get into that when I make a double-breasted jacket.